All right, well, welcome to the second edition of the web news. Things haven't changed much since before. Hopefully, our production quality goes up and we figure this stuff out. But sometimes you just got to hit record on the old camera and get whatever content you want made. I guess. I don't know. I tried to sound philosophical and then didn't have wording for it, and then that's not good. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about minimal phones. We're going to be talking about minimal phones and specifically I guess like digital detox and things like that. And I'll kind of lay out the situation that I had happen to me last week, and I was mentioning to Mike about it, and then we can kind of talk about it. So loosely, my New Year's resolution for 2025, to give some background, was to reduce my notifications. So I was just getting notifications like left, right, and center. If I left my phone for half a day, I'd come back and there's just like literally like four bajillion, not literally, messages in the actual notification shade. And most of them I would just kind of swipe away. I would look for a second, swipe away. And so I was like, why am I getting these notifications? Like they aren't really notifications to me because I'm just swiping them away each time. So I wanted to reduce those notifications from coming in. And so almost every day for like a couple of months, I was like shutting off notifications from apps, unsubscribing from useless email lists. But it just, I'm like losing pace. Like I'm still not daily, but I'm still shutting off these notifications that are coming in, and they're outpacing me. I mean, it's just straight up. For what I've discovered is that if you shut off, and this is not for everything, but if you shut off a notification category in some apps or email list settings, sometimes another category is waiting for you. So for example, you may unsubscribe from like a random email thing that says like, let's say it's like constantly bugging you. Like you say, unsubscribe from general emails. It'll be like, no worries, you're now unsubscribed. And then it'll be like, oh, hey, by the way, here's the emails that are just for you. Like it starts that up. And that goes for both emails. And I mentioned push notifications and apps as well. That goes for apps as well. Apps are probably, depending on the provider or the person sending the emails, probably the worst offender here. And so I have just been like absolutely inundated with people messaging me and stuff like that. And this isn't like my friends messaging me so much. Like I have a lot of people that talk to me, but when I really look at the phone, it's like 5 or 6 messages, or like more than 5 or 6 messages, but maybe 5 or 6 conversations. Some groups, some individual conversations have gone off maybe in a 12-hour period. And I'm having trouble with this kind of like constant digital availability age that we live in, where everyone's just like expected to be around. They're expected to be free. They're expected to be like, talk back and forth, answer phone calls, do this and that. And here's the thing. I want to be able to answer all the phone calls and message all of the people back that I care about, like my friends and family and things like that. But the issue is like I'm being like absolutely overrun by all this like spam and even things that are useful for other people that aren't useful for me. And so last Thursday, I want to say, to get to the point, Mike and I had a conversation where I said something like, I received like over 400. It was a crazy day, over 400 notifications in less than 24 hours. And I was like, this is out of control. Like I'm getting messages for this, that, the other thing. I'm making plans and I'm forgetting this. And then there's like things coming in from the government because we just filed our taxes. And it's just like, hey, okay, everybody stop. Like everybody hold it, whatever. And I've tried to combat this. I have 2 smartphones, one for personal, one for work. So I can, kind of shut off work at some point or shut off personal at some point. And even then, even with this separation, things are spiraling out of control. Like now it's like I'm getting like more spam than ever. Like I'm still able to thankfully like shut off work when I want, but I'm getting spam all over the place on both numbers, on both emails, and it's just out of control. So what I was talking to Mike about was I was thinking about getting like a minimal phone. Literally one of them is called the minimal phone, where it has like a keyboard and an e-ink display, but a high refresh rate one if you want, or because you can set the refresh rate literally right from like the settings panel in the phone. It has a physical keyboard, it has an e-ink display. And then there was also one that's kind of gone viral lately, which is an OLED display called the Light Phone 3, I believe it's called. And that thing is kind of like a brick, but it's like relatively small height wise, but it's pretty thick. And that thing is less capable. So the minimal phone has like full Android. You can install apps and that on there. How well those apps will work on e-ink, kind of remains to be seen. Although there's a lot of videos out there, so you can kind of check now. But Light Phone is like really minimal. Like it kind of can barely do anything. and it's like a step back. And I know that there's been a lot of people that are like digitally detoxing because they're in the same boat as me, and they're like, this is out of control. Like I'm just getting even just like spam callers. Yesterday I was called from Switzerland. I've never been there, 5 times in a row. Like Switzerland, okay, hang it up. 20 minutes later, Switzerland. Like, what's going on here? And then I started getting called from the Netherlands. It's all fake. Like, it's not real. Because I picked up the sixth one. I was like, is someone in Europe and like actually in trouble? Like, is something happening? And I picked up and it's just like, hello, I'm like Anna from some random company. It's like, oh my God. Like all that, you called me 5 or 6 times just to out of control. So, and yes, people are going to be like, well, Matt, just delete the stuff. I am, but it's starting to literally take up a portion of my time, like a measurable portion of my time. So, what do you think about this, Mike? Like, what do you think about this? I don't know, digital detox idea, minimal phone. I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Well, yeah, I've had my own kind of battles lately. It hasn't been so much like with notifications because I think I'm really good at ignoring notifications, probably to the negative, like to the negative of like me not responding to sometimes to people because I just don't care about a notification coming through. So the notifications aren't the things that bother me. My problem more lies in just dependence on screens. So I feel like I work all day, obviously screens, that's a requirement. And then I stop work and I go hang out with my family and go like play with my daughter. But then in the back of my mind, like I'm for sure addicted to a screen, right? Like I for sure have that habit of, oh, hey, I need to check and make sure that like Slack is okay and make sure like there's no message on X. I don't need to check that. Like there's no reason for me to check that while I'm playing with my daughter. There's no absolutely zero reason for me to do that. But I am definitely at the point where I am addicted. So it's not even like I if I think about it, I cannot do it. But then as soon as I stop thinking about it and I zone off, all of a sudden I have my phone in my hand. Bad. It's bad. Like it's just a bad place to be. And I do think I need a digital detox to some degree. I think I need a way for me to not have a capable phone in my pocket, but still be reachable in certain situations. And that's why when you brought up like, hey, I'm looking at these phones, I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm looking at them as well right now because I'm in a similar spot. I need I need to not be as reliant because like the other thing they do is they make time go all wishy-washy. Like I'll look at my phone, I'll start scrolling through some social media website, Reddit or X, and all of a sudden 30 minutes have gone by.
Yeah,
And like I haven't really lived those 30 minutes, really. Right? Like I could have been doing so many other things. Like I could have been working on like we just had an episode of working on the business. I could have spent those 30 minutes working on the business rather than just doing some random shit on my phone. So I need to be more mindful of that. I need to get to a place where I can do it. I can spend more productive time. I can spend more time with my daughter, be bored. I think boredom is another really big thing that I am not good with, right? Like I just can't be bored and that sucks. And I think that you need to be bored to be able to do really hard things in your life. And I am not good at that. So that's another thing that the phone is a crutch for me on is like as soon as I get bored, my brain is like, oh, I need to look at my phone. So I need to live with boredom. I need to be able to do more productive things rather than scroll random shit on all the social medias. And I need to be able to spend like more quality time with family without having to rely on my phone. Those are the three big things, major things that had me start looking at specifically the minimal phone, I think. I think that that's the step that I would want to take, not the light phone. And again, like Matt said, the biggest difference there is the light phone, or is it the light phone? Yeah, the
light
light
phone
phone. The
3.
light phone 3 is like dumber than a dumb phone almost. Like it has no capabilities other than some really basic ones of being like able to phone and message. And I think it has a camera that makes it look like it's like a vintage shot or something like that. It's some weird camera and that's it.
Yeah, it's
No
supposed to look like a
apps.
film, like old school film.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're going back to the 90s, but it's just like
Yeah.
it's like the 90s envisioned a phone because like in the 90s didn't envision social media, for example.
Yeah, exactly. And the other egregious thing to me is that it costs like $800 US. So like that to me it's not an option. If I wanted to go down that route, I would get a dumb phone for like $50 and call it a day, or I just go online like on eBay and find like an old phone. Anyway, I think the light phone seems interesting because I like the e-ink side of things. It'll make things look boring. it'll make some apps work terribly that I won't want to use them, right? But I'll still be able to communicate. I'll still be able to read. I'll still be able to do things like that. And I think that's the next step for me probably is I need to find a way. And other people will chime in and be like, "Hey, you could just set up like a bunch of shit on your phone to make it so that, apps are shut off at certain times and you can bypass all that." And in my head, if I can bypass it, I'm going to bypass it.
Or you're
I
gonna at
can't
the very
trick
least think
myself.
about it. Like I
Yeah,
should bypass this to like get to
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, like I can't trick myself. I need to be physically unable to access those things.
Well, I had that conversation with a friend who, when the iPhone specifically introduced sort of like their digital wellness, I'm going to call it,
Mhm.
features, where it was like, hey, you can put like app timers and things like that, and I like sent him something on Instagram, and it was I want to say it was like something like that we needed to do. It was like something for my other podcast or something like that, and he was like, oh hey, like I'm I can't use Instagram right now. Like I have like 5 minutes left. And I was like, we're adults here. Like you got to look at this post. Like we're trying to put together a podcast here. And I always, ever since then, I just like kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, these features like are foolish. Like for kids and stuff, it kind of makes more sense. But it's like, as adults, we probably have more restraint. And then I'm starting to see like even the older generation, like our parents, starting to like be using their phones, to a point where it's like, you've been on like TikTok all day, like and like legitimately like all day, like 6 hours today or something. I have friends who have like who their parents like they're just I have one friend specifically whose father has purchased multiple TVs. He will put a movie on, have a laptop on the coffee table in front of him, and then have his phone in his hand. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. And like our generation, millennials, like we're the like younger millennials are like not like I mean some probably are doing that, but I would never expect the older generation to get involved. And this is where I started thinking like, oh, like we're like you said, starting to get addicted. Like I'm not a doctor, I don't know like the a medical definition, but in terms of like me self-diagnosing, it's sort of like, yeah, I'm a little bit. The weird thing too that you mentioned is like I always hear the argument of like you're addicted to social media, you're addicted to TikTok, and I have had that where like I've been in bed on like a Sunday, and I've like noticed I'm like, oh my god, I'm just on TikTok for 2 hours. It's like what the hell? Like there goes 2 hours on my weekend. Like what the hell was that? Which is, I mean, whatever. If you want to do it, you want to do it. But I did not expect to be on there for 2 hours. The thing too though is you're right about the addicting, which I never hear of checking. And it's like I check, and if everything's okay, my anxiety goes down here, slowly creeps up, and then it gets even worse when I'm resisting checking. Where I'm like, I don't need to check. I don't need to check. It keeps going up, 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 way out of frame now, and then like up. You know what I mean? Like I checked, now right back down to bottom. And I mean, I have experience with that. I went golfing the other day, and we did an 18. It was fine. I turned my phone into literally a golf mode. Like I have a routine. I have a Samsung phone, so I have a routine golf mode. It like blocks a lot of the notifications and stuff and all that. And we did a round. It was great. And then it was like, hey, let's do another 9 because it's early. We finished that really easy, really quick. So we go to do another 9, and then the anxiety started kicking in. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be away from my notifications for longer than expected. And it's not like it's an anxiety that's like enough to ruin like it's fine. Like I can still play golf, it's all fun and stuff. But it's like, why is that thought even there? And that's like very like not natural, if that makes sense. It's very like I didn't worry about that when MSN was a thing, like dating myself at this point, but it's like I didn't worry about very rapidly getting back to my MSN unless there was like, I don't know, a school project or something, but that's like more planned. I wasn't like, oh my god, I gotta check my MSN, like what's gonna happen. It's
Yeah.
so like these phones, like what's crazy is like it's not even really the messaging. Like for me, it's like a little bit, like maybe like work messaging, like if I'm worried that someone's emailed because that their site's down or something. But at the same time, like I've told you, I'm like, I'm in a field, like golfing. If your site's down, now I'm worried about it, and I also can't help you. like, like, what's the point of me looking at that and being like, oh, your site's down. I guess we can both worry about it together because I am unavailable. If I'm unavailable, I'm unavailable. Somebody commented in a comment section about, I think it was one of these phones, where someone was like, "Why would you want to like do something like this?" And someone said, "Back in the day, you used to have an answering machine, and if you left to do something, and they used golf as an example, if you left to do something for the day and you were golfing, you would be golfing all day. And you come back and you check your messages, and you answer those messages when you get back or the next morning or whenever, right? Whenever is appropriate for you and for whomever you're answering." And he's like, "If you're golfing that day." And I was like, it hasn't been like that for us in like probably 10 years. Like I didn't really have a smartphone till about 12 years ago. Like I didn't get it until like mid college or something like that. So it might even be less for me, maybe like a decade or 8 years or something. But the point of the matter is like, this is crazy. Like this is a crazy, like, when I brought up the thing on Thursday, which is kind of what sparked all this. And I was talking to you before this recording. I said like I wasn't even like anxious or worried about what I was being sent. I could just feel my brain was on. It was like my whole brain was just like ready to go. Like, oh my god, like ding 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 ding, like I'm constantly like
Yeah.
just like ready to go. And I'm like, I'm literally sitting here because I just finished something and I just wanted to have like a coffee for 20 minutes. So it's more or less like a work break. Why is my brain like running at 125 like percent?
Yeah. Yeah, I think part of it for me as well is that like it's not messaging 100% for me. Like I don't really care about messaging too much. It does add sometimes, but for the most part nowadays it's like the chaotic news cycle.
Yeah,
And I feel
that
like if
too.
I'm not reading it, I'm not up to date with the next thing that's going to be something that destroys my life or something like that. Like, like every day there's some sort of news article that could affect me on a personal level, and that doesn't help. But reading about it on a minute to minute basis also is not going to help me, right? Like I think I need to be up to date with it because again, a lot of stuff is happening at rapid pace in the world. It's important to stay up to date with that to a certain degree to understand what's going on so that you can do some planning and like change some plans, like like you have to adapt to the world around you. But that's not a minute to minute thing, and that's what my brain is thinking right now, is like if I'm not up to date by the minute, I'm screwed. And that's not true, but I'm fighting that with the ability to be able to check it every minute because I could just refresh Reddit or refresh X and see what the next new headline is and then keep doing that over and over again. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's one of those weird situations that I know I have a problem, but I also don't know the best way to solve it because like I could feel like I've done things where like I try not to use my phone for X amount of time, and I do get like anxiety. I know I have a problem because I get like anxiety not using my
Yeah.
phone. I
Yeah.
absolutely get anxiety, and like I start to get bored, and then time goes by really really slowly, and I start to look at the clock every 5 minutes, or not even 5 minutes, every minute, and I'm trying to get back to a point where I can do something. Like I can, I need to be doing something for that to happen. If I'm just sitting there and bored, all hell breaks loose in my head. So it's a problem, and I acknowledge it's a problem. I don't have a good answer for that. The minimal phone might help, and I understand also that it's definitely a stepping stone. It is not the thing that's going to fix it. I think there's a long plan that needs to be put in place, and I need to step on a lot of stones before I can get out of this. But I do want to get out of this thing that I'm in right now.
And phones are great. Like we were talking, the minimal phone has the full access to the Play Store because there's things that are great. Like having Uber is amazing. Like especially in an emergency situation where you're like, I'm stranded, I'm getting out of here. You can just Uber, right? It's like the modern world has certain things where it's like the light phone personally is just like too much of a digital detox. So I'm still embracing technology. Like because I was questioned by a couple friends where they were sort of like, I thought you're the tech guy. And I was like, I am. Like, this is another piece of tech. Like, even though it's like lesser in terms of its capabilities, it's like, this is kind of better. Like, in a way, for some people, like, it's like tech is there to solve problems. And like, also it causes some problems. And like, we're seeing this problem. I will say one thing too is like, I really, really like taking pictures on my Samsung phone. And it's going to suck like having a lesser camera. I'm not sure how the minimal phone is. I know that the light phone we already talked about. I know that that sucks, which is unfortunate. But yeah,
Maybe it's gonna force you to get a nice mirrorless, like a nice point and shoot. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
could be it might be a good forcing factor for you to learn to shoot with a better camera. That might be a good thing, honestly.
And you know what too is ever since Google Photos like had the unlimited, I know they took it away, but they had the unlimited. I snap everything, every single thing. It's like I'll snap like 400 times if I go to like a small town. Whereas back in the 90s, it was like, oh, that's a nice view. It would look nicer if I went over there. Let me go over there. So it's like a bit of exploration, right? It's like, let me go over there and see if I can get a nicer view. Because I got 10 or 12 pictures on this film reel, and I don't remember how many we used to have. I think it was like 10 or 12. But it's like, I got to make sure this picture's good, you know? And I don't even know if it's going to be good once it turns out. Now, I'm not saying we go back to that. Like, I don't want to be doing that. I know some people do for retro effect, which is cool, but that's not me. But like, I would just be like, oh, let me just take a picture. Click, 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 click. Okay, over here. Click, click, click. Okay, click, 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 click. Okay, let me just go over here now. Click, click, click. Oh, I can get AI to do that. Click, click, click. That's literally me. Like, I'm just like a shutterbug now, and I was never a shutterbug before. And now it's like, oh, unlimited. And I was like, I remember like hearing that announcement. I was like, it is unlimited, isn't it? I was like, well, might as well start hitting that shutter button. I have 3,600 photos of my vacation out east.
Oh my god, that's too much.
3,600 photos, and I get like anxiety about like, oh my god, I'm missing like a small section. I better go check all the but check all this. Out of control. Like a brain is turned on too much.
Yes, I agree with that. I think I don't take as many photos as that. I do like to take photos on vacations to like highlight special moments and so I can go back to them. I do like to do that. I think that taking too many photos definitely kind of takes it away from me almost because it's like it makes a special moment like almost less special because you're like, oh, I have 30,000 of this exact moment. Like, okay.
You mean you're not going to use AI to
Yeah.
digitally reconstruct the exact moment you were in? Because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I could.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could with that amount of photos of it. So yeah, but I hear what you're saying. Like we're in a spot. Like we're definitely in a spot where we need to address this situation before it gets worse. And I think it could get worse. As this is what we're fighting. This is what I'm going to end on because I know we want to keep these short. We are fighting against corporations and organizations whose whole goal is to get our time.
Yep.
And every organization wants more of our time. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all of these organizations, TikTok,
Video
their
games.
only purpose, they have departments of hundreds of people whose only purpose is to figure out how they can get an extra minute, an extra hour from each and every person that's on their application, regardless of consequences. They do not care about consequences in any way, shape, or form. They want more of your time. So that's the amount, that's who we're fighting, right? In our own minds. Okay? As weird as that is to say, so it is a battle, and they're winning right now against me. And hopefully I can hire 100 people that can fight them back somehow. It's not gonna happen, but like hopefully I can win that battle in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat. I just like I always think about the old BlackBerry days where it was like it was really convenient to be able to check something, like quickly look something up on the web browser on the phone, and I didn't even have data back then. I just had like Wi-Fi, and I could just like quickly check. You know, that was the big thing. It's like, oh my god, I can like quickly Google things. And I would never have in a million years been like, yeah, I'm going to be looking at memes for 2 hours a day, and I'm going to be sent 7 videos a day, and I'm going to be this and that, and this and that, and this and that. And it's just, it is, it's out of control. And I'm not trying to be one of those people who are like, you know how like when someone does something like this, they're kind of like, they kind of get full of themselves where they're like, yeah, well, I don't use my smartphone. Like, well, congratulations, I do. I'm not trying to be like that. I'm literally like you're saying, like you're trying to address an addiction, and I guess I kind of likely am too. Like I'm trying to like lower. It's like I'm a very fiery person. I can go from like 0 to like 146 on a scale of 1 to 10 really quick. I like sit at about an 8 at idle, which is not good, and I'd like to be at like a 4 if possible. Being lower would be great. Feel like I'm a bit too fiery for that, but it's like I do not want to be sitting at an 8 out of 10 at all times and then have these little blips of like, boop, oh, there's something else that came in on my smartphone. It's like other things are going to blip me, like real things, like, you know, serious phone calls or like actually serious emails or serious situations are gonna hit me, why am I also getting blipped about like stupid memes and stuff? Like, you know what I mean? Like that in the blip of mood. I don't know if that means what that means, but anyway, so that's I never thought I'd be here. I want to be clear. I never thought I would be here, but that 400 plus notifications. I think I've been like 483 or something like that. Like 480, let's just say, notifications less than 24 hours. I was like losing my mind. I was like, where am I? I don't even know if I worked that day. I legitimately don't remember what I did that day. And I did a bunch of stuff. Anyway,
Brutal.
that's the web news. Let us know what you guys think, like, about this whole digital detox thing. Actually, by the time this comes out, we'll actually have an interview. This wasn't even planned, actually, but I'll have an interview with Tom from Cloudphone. I almost said from LinkedIn for some reason. That's not correct. From Tom from Cloudphone, where he talks about bringing smartphone features or more like kind of modern features to what he calls feature phones, what we'd call, I guess, flip phones or like dumb phones, where like they're lesser phones that are great for markets that either have a really specific niche that they need, like a specific factory work or something, or markets that need a really low cost phone and can't, run, TikTok and all the rest of this stuff. So it's a really cool interview. Go check that out. I conducted it because I, again, used to work at BlackBerry, used to be a part of like sort of the smartphone game a lot. So yeah, go and check that out on our regular kind of RSS feed. And this concludes this web news. Hopefully you like this. If you have any suggestions, improvements, and yes, I know I need better lighting and all the rest of it. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and thanks for checking it out.
Goodbye.